Hi, I'm Steven, and welcome to Page to Plate. This is the channel where we take a recipe from the cookbook and bring it right to your table. Let's get started and pick something to eat. Today I'm going to cook something from the Encyclopedia of Italian Cooking. It was published by Reader's Digest. I'm not sure how authentic it is, but I have to say I've really enjoyed cooking the recipes from this book. They're pretty straightforward, they're well laid out, the pictures are beautiful. If you can get yourself a copy, do it. It was published in around 2000, and I really enjoy it. We're going to start with a very simple pasta dish. Spaghetti with olive oil, garlic, and chili. It has an Italian name, but I won't embarrass myself or you by trying to pronounce it. First thing to do is to put on your apron. Gotta have an apron. I'm wearing a nice shirt. I want to keep it that way, so I wear my apron. I love an apron. I always wear an apron. Second thing, read the recipe. Not once, but twice. I have to read it twice, because guaranteed if I start cooking and I haven't read that recipe all the way through, I'll be part way done and I'll suddenly realize, oh no! I was supposed to smoke the garbanzo beans before I added the double cream. 1 pound spaghettini, 4 cloves garlic, 2 tablespoons finely chopped parsley, 1 dried red chili crumbled, half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, salt to taste. Get everything you're going to need for the recipe all laid out. All of your tools, your knives, cutting board, pots, pans, all of your ingredients set out. That way you're not going to be scrambling looking for something while you've got a pot boiling over. Get your pasta water on the highest burner you can. Let's start by mincing 4 cloves of garlic, as it says in the recipe. And then we're going to add 1 more for good measure. Because let's be honest, no matter what the recipe says, you always need a bit more garlic. Even if what you're cooking is 1 clove of garlic, you still need 2. Now I'm chopping up 1 dried chili. Chili is one of those things where you got to decide how hot or how not hot you want it. The recipe may call for one thing, but you might like another. We're kind of a medium hot here at the house, so I'm going to go for a fairly good sized chili, but I'm going to stick with the recipe because I always believe you should cook the recipe as it's written first before you start modifying it. This is a bit of a rough chop. This beautiful flat leaf or Italian parsley is actually all edible. The whole thing, the stem all the way through. But for this recipe, we're just going to want the tender shoots at the top of the plant and the nice leaves. We'll pick these off. We give them a little rinse, make sure there's no sand or dirt in there. And we're going to get rid of any yellow or wilted leaves, like these guys. Just giving the parsley a nice coarse chop, keeping my fingers out of the way. Everything all set up. Normally you would call this your mise en place. For me, I like to call it nooling. Yeah, that's right, nooling. It's a word. Well, I think it's a word. I heard it somewhere once, and they said it was for getting all your stuff set up, and I've been using it ever since. But I don't actually know if it's a real word. I can't find the article where I read it. So if you know that that's a real word, please leave me a note down in the comments. Adding my olive oil to the pan, and you want to get this going on a medium heat, not too high. So I really just eyeballed that olive oil. It's not an exact measurement. I just put enough in to cover the bottom of the pan. The big thing is don't let it get too hot. Once the water's boiling, you can add a healthy dose of salt. Because there's not a lot in this pasta, you want to salt the water a little more generously. Do a little more salt than you normally would. Maybe almost a full tablespoon of salt, sort of 2 pinches. It's really important that you wait for the water to boil before you salt it, because if you don't, the salt will pit the bottom of the pan. If you have a nice stainless steel model like this jobby, it'd stain it, which is weird, because it's stainless. Pasta goes in. That's a one-take wonder. Use your tongs to spread it all out. Let your pasta cook for 1 minute less than what it says on the package, because it's always going to keep cooking just a little bit as you get it organized. Set a 3-minute timer.
3 minutes and counting.
Thanks, Siri. Once your pasta's in and it's really boiling, you want to make sure that it's not sticking together. Just give it a little stir with your tongs. After getting the olive oil warmed up, warm but not hot, I've reduced the heat down as low as it'll go, and I'm going to add the garlic. That little sizzle is okay, but you want to make sure it doesn't brown or burn, because once you do that, there is no going back. Now I'm going to add the chili. Now I'm adding the parsley. I've turned the heat off to make sure that my garlic doesn't brown. Just about ready to add my pasta. Perfect timing. It's okay that it's a bit wet. You want a little bit of that pasta water left in there. You want the starch to help sort of thicken the sauce that you've got. Take it all out. I actually saw a woman one time talking about how North Americans always drain their pasta, and that's not right. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't been able to use a colander since. Just incorporating this olive oil, this garlic, and this chili and parsley. Look at that. The colors are fantastic. The yellow from the durum wheat semolina and the green from the parsley. That dried chili is just going to add an extra little punch. We're going to plate this up. Give yourself a nice, healthy serving. I'm a little bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit of extra olive oil. And then some fresh Parmesan cheese. This is one of those things that's worth spending the money on. This. So easy, so tasty. Really, only takes minutes. Nice and garlicky, a little bit of heat from the chili. Just enough so that you know it's there. Just perfect. Good to look at, even better to eat. Thank you for watching. Great to have you here. We'll see you next time on Page to Plate.